Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Eddie.
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 We'll see.
Already. We are the Office Blokes. As you may have noticed, we have a couple of other YouTube channels, Patreon page, social media merch, all that good stuff. You know what we do have that's brand spanking new? TikTok. I know. You wouldn't think it.
No, you wouldn't. Not
You
at all.
wouldn't think it to look at us.
It's true though.
We have a TikTok.
We're going to change the way the world turns.
Absolutely. That's what we're all about. Yeah, head over to the Office Blokes on TikTok. Give us a like, give us a follow, whatever you do.
That's what you do.
Tick our talk. I don't know
It's
what
all
you do.
new to us.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue. Yeah, but a couple of videos on there already, and they're pretty funny. So just go for it. Right, Accent Expert gives a tour of North American accents, part 3.
Yeah, really like this guy.
He's going to talk about some diphthongs.
Yep.
Really. He's been really good. Loved it.
I thought
Can't remember his name. He's going to tell us when he opens.
Yeah. It's all it's so good. It's so technical, isn't it? And the way accents come about and the way you can sound like someone from there.
I just like the way he carries himself.
Yeah.
He's just a very likeable kind of guy, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. It just comes across really well and he's absolutely seamless when he does the accents himself, isn't he?
there's a lot of issues in the comment section about the people who do these videos. Don't know if you've noticed.
In what way?
You know how I pointed out they were saying Latinx, and it's quite a woke sort of, you know, non-gender specific sort of way of saying Latino or Latina. There's a lot of people in the comments calling them all like liberal cooks and like you know, all this sort of stuff. We don't do politics.
Just
here.
be nice. Just be nice to each other.
We don't give a shit. These people have made a pretty cool video. And I like it.
Yeah.
So Accent Expert gives a tour of North American accents, part 3. Let's do it.
Hi, Eric Singer, dialect coach. The map tour,
I told you it was Eric.
Yeah.
North American accents continues. If you missed parts 1 and 2, you can check them out here. We're diving into part 3 from the West. Let's talk about California. Let's talk about Southern California. Another part of the country where we have some really exciting ongoing.
Did I say Tijuana?
Yeah.
I always thought Tijuana was like, it's in Mexico, isn't it?
Yeah.
So so it's like a border town of Mexico, Tijuana. I thought it was right, sort of. I know I'm digressing massively already, but I assumed it was somewhere really far south.
Right,
No.
okay.
Oh, fair enough.
It's, you know, in some of the films and stuff you see, and they refer to the gunshots, and you heard in Tijuana. The gunshots were coming from Tijuana, but they were in California.
I never heard
One of
that.
the films, never heard that phrase.
No.
Or whatever. Not a phrase, but
Yeah,
certain films
Yeah.
I've heard it. You know.
fair enough.
Change. So just like in some contemporary English accents, a more open oral posture, a lower jaw is lowering some vowel sounds, most noticeably the dress and trap vowels. There are a bunch of vowel sounds moving around here. Goose and goat can both be very fronted, and the short I vowel, the kit vowel, is being split in 2. Before NG, it's likely to sound like E, so thing, going, just like the rest of the West, but otherwise it's lowered like dress and trap. So bid gets closer to bed, miss begins to sound like mess, and so on. So of course, if you take this accent and like turn the dial up to 11, we're talking about a stereotypical surfer accent, like sort of a Bill and Ted's kind of thing. You can hear that in a clip here when they say excellent, that's a lowered dress vowel. Excellent, excellent, excellent. It's very much change and progress, so stay tuned. And of course, LA County has the highest Latinx population in the country. So I'm going to turn this over to Megan again.
Hi again. Now I'm going to talk about Chicano English. The majority of Chicano English speakers reside in the US Southwest and California, and in Chicago. Chicano English is heavily influenced by Mexican Spanish. Spanish has been in this region longer than English has. In 1848, Mexico ceded this land to the US. Because of this history, Mexican Spanish has been influencing the English of the area for a really long time. One of my favorite features is devoicing of word final Z. So the sound Z is a voiced sound. You can actually tell if you put your fingers here right by your throat and you do the Z sound, zzz, you'll feel vibration. With devoicing, we use the voiceless equivalent, which is an S. So the Z sounds at the end of words turn into more of an S sound. You can hear this devoicing in the plural form of chair. Chairs becomes chairs. You can hear that feature here.
He did things, he did things, he did things.
Another remarkable feature of Chicano English is that there's less
What a strange sentence to use as the example.
Yeah,
he did things. What did he do?
He did things to me.
Show me on the doll. Sorry.
Looks like he had things done to him as well, doesn't he?
It's like Mexican Mike.
Absolutely nothing like me whatsoever.
If you grew a muzzy and comb your hair back, that's you.
Dear.
Vowel reduction. So it's a little subtle, but I'll try to show you how it sounds. I say because, and someone who would reduce the vowel would say because. I say together, and someone would reduce the vowel to together. Today, today. You can hear the features in this native speaker clip.
To hear, and to listen to everyone.
Thanks, Megan. While we're in the Southwest with Chicano English, let's make a quick stop in the Navajo Nation. Kalina?
On this stop, we will be visiting the traditional homelands of the Navajo people in the Four Corners area. The same devoicing feature found in Chicano English can also be found in Navajo English. You can hear a native speaker here.
I want him to recognize all Indian tribes.
The second feature here is a glottal replacement of final consonants. You can hear the glottal stop instead of a T.
I want it to hear.
Back to Eric.
Thank you, Kalina. Next up, here's Nicole to talk about African American language in California.
We know that African Americans in California participate in local features such as ooh fronting and up talk. You can hear that here.
I'm Imani Dorn. Tuesdays, too soon to do that. Tuesdays.
A 2016 study found bat retraction, or the a vowel being pronounced further back in the mouth, among Bakersfield African Americans. You can hear that in this clip.
I'll be right back, and then we can stack those boxes. Right back.
And now the map tour continues with Eric.
As we move...
that kind of surfer accent that you associate with California.
Yeah.
I can't stand that inflection that makes it sound like a question after every sentence. That's just... You get people over here that talk like that as well sometimes, and everything just leading you into something. You know what I mean?
Australians do it.
The Aussies do it. Yeah, you're right.
Do they?
Do they? Do they?
Do they?
They do. I think it's just too positive for our mentality over here. You can't end a sentence optimistically.
No, because you can't be miserable.
You've got to be miserable, yeah. You've got to go,
That's what the Scouse accent's like that, I think, isn't it? They sort of go up all the time.
No, the Scousers say, "Did you so, don't you so?"
But that is a question, so you would have an upward inflection at the end of the question.
Yeah.
They don't. That's more like it.
It sounds like from Birmingham.
They don't.
North from California. Up in the Pacific Northwest, we've definitely got that caught merger. They sound the same up here, just like they do everywhere in the West and in Canada. But one thing you hear a lot up here is a lip-rounded vowel for it, aw. So here we might talk about a hot pot. Oh, there's a little pocket around San Francisco that doesn't have the caught merger, by the way. So unlike the whole rest of California, the whole West Coast really, caught and caught sound distinct here, like they do in most of the South and the East. Just a little dialect island. Up over the border in Vancouver, you'll hear that same lot rounding, but you'll also start to get raising and tensing in the trap vowel when it comes right before a g sound, like in bag, agriculture, flag. Similar to what you can hear over in Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota again, there's a fascinating dialect pocket in Alaska, the Matanuska-Susitna Valley, that can sound uncannily like those broad Minnesota accents. A lot of people suddenly noticed this in 2008 when Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska, shot to national fame as the Republican vice presidential nominee. You can see that here in this clip.
I appreciate this privilege of being able to be here and speak with Americans.
We want to keep our AAA bonding rating in Minnesota.
It turns out that in the 1930s, there was a huge migration of farmers to the Matsu Valley from Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So that's how that happened. Okay, back to Canada. Now, Kalina's originally from the Northwest Territories. Let's go back to her.
There are 9 official languages spoken in the Northwest Territories, including Norse Slavey, which is a part of the Athabascan language family. I'm inspired by the many revitalization efforts by our people to save our languages. For example, Language Nest in Hawaii. This is where young people are immersed in the language every day with elders in the community. Another revitalization method is a translation of popular television shows and movies into indigenous languages. Because of all of this, I have tremendous hope for both the future of our Native American languages and of Native American English.
Thank you, Kalina.
I suppose I just never thought about translating movies into other languages because they speak English and they're mostly made in English, aren't they?
But so, yeah.
Do you remember my mate? We did one of the reactions to one of his videos. He did a song called Manchester.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to him, I met him in town in Manchester a few weeks ago, and that's what he does during lockdown when there was no concerts. He started doing translation videos and translating movies and stuff into different languages.
You know, the American military, I think it was in the Second World War, used Native Americans as radio operators because essentially they just talked to each other in their language. And,
right,
you know,
okay.
I think it might have been Japan or Germany that were doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because they understand like English, French, German, all these other languages that they'd expect to hear. But they'd never expect to hear a Native American speaker called Wind Talkers.
Clever.
Really? Cool. There's a movie about it with Nicolas Cage.
Okay, let's go to Toronto. And let's talk for just a minute about probably the most famous Canadian accent feature there is. It's called Canadian raising. Though you may not have heard it called that, but you're probably familiar with oot and a boot, yeah? Of course, Canadians aren't actually saying oot and a boot. What they're doing is raising the start of the diphthong in words like out and about, so that instead of it starting very open, ow, it's starting from somewhere in the middle of the mouth, oh. It only affects syllables that end in an unvoiced consonant, so words like out, about, house, mouth. In words like how, now, loud, rouse, Canadians still use that wide ow diphthong. Canadian raising isn't only in that class of words, though, the mouth vowel. It also affects the price vowel in the same way, so that the starting point of words like right, life, type, mice can get raised too. But words like rise, five, tide, fly keep their full I diphthong. You can hear the contrast between both of those if I say something like, that's a fine price for a brown house. So out in the Atlantic provinces of Canada, we'll hear accents that are in some cases almost unrecognizably different from what you'll hear in most of the rest of Canada. And once again, isolation and length of time are the key factors here. Newfoundland accents are maybe the most distinctly different of all. I'm giving this one a go even though I've never done it before, so be gentle, please, you newfies. Now, there's lots of variation here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Canadian accents I hear, especially Vancouver, who sounds Northern Irish, and Newfoundland. It's you find that it's got very Irish twang as well.
Yeah,
that's got a bit of a sort of like southwest sort of twang to it as well, a little bit.
Southwest of England,
like Bristol, like the Bristol sort of area,
and Gloucester.
Yeah,
yeah, you might be right there.
But I always thought the people from like Vancouver sound like they're from Northern Ireland sometimes.
Yeah. Of course. And most younger folks aren't going to sound like this. But this would be an accent from the far southeast of Newfoundland, down below St. John's. We could go on about this one all day. Sounds a bit Irish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This part of Newfoundland was in fact settled by Irish people, mostly from County Wexford. There's quite a lot of reasons why this particular old Newfoundland accent sounds Irish. Vowel sounds, of course, intonation, aspiration, but you'll also hear the Irish slit T. What's a slit T? It's a T sound made with a very soft closure at the tip of the tongue, or not even really quite a full closure at all. There's a slit left for the air to escape through. What? That. Hit it. I could stay here all day, but it's about time to wrap this up. So let's dip back down across the border back into the States and end close to where we started.
Some of the California and that general area didn't strike me as being crazy distinctive. You know, like when we were doing the South and there's like a proper Southern accent.
Yeah.
That Newfoundland one as well was a lot more distinctive. Some of the California ones were just, I suppose, maybe because you hear so much of it on TV shows and stuff. True. It doesn't seem that much of a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Very, very influenced by Spanish, though, wasn't it? They were saying the Mexican Spanish, the Chicano.
The Mexican sort of Spanish mixed with English, but some of the stuff they were doing when they were moving around that general region was just sounded like someone talking. Didn't sound like a strong accent, some of it.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm getting to know a bit more about the difference with the Canadian accent now as well, whereas before I'd never really got it. I know you two sort of knew the difference and what it would, what to listen for sort of thing in an accent, but I'd never picked up on it before really, but
But I think you've got so many people moving around that they take an accent. That's what we were saying before about the Alaska thing from Minnesota and Wisconsin and somewhere else. They're taking their accents with them, aren't they? So obviously we get in certain parts of Canada where the Irish settlers were.
Yeah.
And when he was doing talking about the accent and the Irish with the T.
Yeah.
Scousers do the same.
They do. Yeah.
Which again, Liverpool, Northern Ireland,
a lot of Irish influence there, yeah.
A lot of Irish influence, especially with all like the trade routes and everything, from years ago. So yeah.
It's more like hitting a hi-hat than pronouncing a T, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
in northeastern New England. I remember that caught merger. Well, the whole western US has it, and all of Canada, and so does this part of New England. Goes down about as far as Boston. Rhode Island doesn't generally have it, but here in Maine, you've got that caught merger, so all the vowel sounds in those two big groups of words are merged. They all sound like aw here. You know what doesn't all sound the same, though? Mary, marry, and Mary. Now, they do in my normal accent, Mary, Mary, Mary.
See, when you look at the influence it's had in New England, of the English settlers
You
that
can
went
see
over,
that.
it was very posh spoken Old English ways, and you pick up what he's saying.
Mary. You can hear
Mary.
that. You can hear that mile, can't you?
Yeah.
Like the posh English accent from years ago. Definitely, big influence.
So you put the Irish on the little island up there to be stuck, and then all the English are there just mincing around going, Mary! Hello, Mary!
Mincing.
You're allowed to say mincing. You're allowed to say mincing.
Are you sure?
I was talking about our lot. I was talking about the English mincing about. That's allowed.
You said it again.
The same is true for almost all of North America, but most speakers up here still have distinct pronunciations for all three. Mary, marry, Mary. Even more interestingly, at least in some older folk speech still, the historical distinction between horse and horse is still preserved. So if your horse has a sore throat, you might have a hoarse horse. You can still hear this distinction in parts of Ireland and Scotland and parts of the US South, but that's about it. This is one of the last places you'll hear it. And that's it. That's our last stop. So, listen, let me just say again, this is not meant to be a comprehensive tour of all North American accents. We've tried to be at least somewhat representative and to include some insights into how and why accents might differ from place to place. I sincerely want to thank all of the linguists and language experts who've helped out. And if you want to follow them, here they are one more time.
You can find me on Twitter at Megan D. Figueroa.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good again.
It was great.
Yeah.
Eric Singer's a great host of a show like that.
He is.
Yeah.
The way he puts it across.
Yeah.
I just thought the first video where he's doing more of the southern accents and stuff I liked, because it's a really thick accent in some of those regions, and it's just got a really nice rounded sound to it. Like when I think on the first video I said he sounds like Matthew McConaughey at one point, which is quite a cool accent.
Yeah, definitely.
Where's he from? Texas?
I think he's Texas, yeah. I think so. I may be wrong. Maybe he wasn't born in Texas. It was somewhere else, but I think he lives in Texas.
See, my favourite accent's from the USA. It's going to upset everybody, isn't it?
No, I've already said I can't stand the inflection at the end, so I'll be the one getting sticks.
I like the Boston accent and New York. They're the best for me.
Now, would that be New York Latinx representation?
No,
or would that
no, don't start.
It'd be the Brooklyn Italian American. Yeah, exactly.
Which is purely racist.
Is that all they say? Hey!
No, they say, oh!
Just go through all the vowels.
Hey, oh, you!
Hey, you!
Fully enough, I watched, I can never remember what the title of the movie is, because Saints of Newark, which is the prequel to The Sopranos.
Right.
I watched it at the cinema on Saturday night, and there's lots of in that. It's a weirdly comforting sound to hear someone say.
Yeah, but they were from New Jersey, mate.
Anyway,
Newark the movie. Is that in New Jersey?
Newark's New Jersey.
I don't know the difference. I don't know, but either way, I just wanted to slip it in there that I watched it and go out and watch it, because
stop slipping things in anywhere. Last time you got in trouble for that.
Yeah,
it was good. That
anyway, that's good. Enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thanks for that, Eric Singer, and don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.